In which agreement was the provision of separate electorate for Harijan replaced the reserve seat Pune Pact. In 1932, under the Pune Pact between Gandhi and Ambedkar, it was an it was agreed to replace separate electorate with reserve seat for depressed class. The Pune Pact was signed between Mahatma Gandhi and whom? B.R. Ambedkar. This agreement was signed between Gandhi and Ambedkar on 24th September 1932 in Yerwada jail. The Pune Pact was related to what? Reservation of electoral seat for the backward class. The pact provided for reservation of seat for Dalit instead of separate electorate. When was Pune Pact signed? In 1932. This historic agreement was signed in 24 September 1932 in Yerwada Jail, Pune. In which year was Pune Pact signed? In 1932. The agreement between Gandhi and Ambedkar was signed regarding the representation of Dalit. Who signed Pune Pact? Mahatma Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar. Gandhi signed on behalf of the Congress, while Ambedkar signed on behalf of depressed class. Which leader signed the Pune Pact with Mahatma Gandhi in 1932? B.R. Ambedkar. This agreement was related to the political right of Dalits. In which year the Azad Hind radio service started in Germany? In 1942. Subhash Chandra Bose started Azad Hind radio in Berlin in 1942 to campaign against the British rule. The city of Cuttack is related to which famous freedom fighter? Subhash Chandra Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose was born in 1897 in Cuttack, Odisha. In which year Subhash Chandra Bose became the Congress president for the first time? In 1938. In 1938, Subhash Chandra Bose became the Congress president at the Hirapur session. Was Subhash Chandra Bose a member of Constituent Assembly Drafting Committee? No. Subhash Chandra Bose was not a member of Constituent Assembly Drafting Committee. However, all other statements about him are true. Who established the provisional government of Azad Hind? Subhash Chandra Bose. On 21 October 1943, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose announced the establishment of provisional government of Azad Hind in Singapore. Who first proposed the idea of forming the Indian National Army (INA)? Mohan Singh. Captain Mohan Singh of the Indian Army was the first to propose the idea of forming the INA. Who founded the Forward Bloc Party? Subhash Chandra Bose. In 1939, after separating from Congress, Subhash Chandra Bose founded Forward Bloc Party. Which party was founded by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose? All India Forward Bloc. After leaving Congress, Subhash Chandra Bose established All India Forward Bloc in 1939. What was the name of the party formed by Subhash Chandra Bose after leaving Congress? All India Forward Bloc. In 1939, Subhash Chandra Bose formed the Forward Bloc party after leaving Congress. Who was the defense lawyer of Seagull Dhillon Shah Nawaz trial? Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru defended the INA soldier in in this famous trial. Who established INA, Indian National Army? Mohan Singh. In 1942, Mohan Singh established the INA, Indian National Army. In which year Indian National Army formed? 1942. INA was officially formed in September 1942. What name was given to Andaman Nicobar Island by INA? Shahid and Swaraj Island. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose renamed Andaman as Shahid and Nicobar as Swaraj Island. Who established Indian National Army INA? Ras Bihari Bose. Ras Bihari Bose convened a conference in Japan in 1942 to organize the formation of INA. Who formed the Deshbandhu Youth Association? Tripur Kumran, freedom fighter Kumaran founded this association. What was the name of Subhash Chandra Bose's father? Janaki Nath Bose. He was a prominent lawyer from Cuttack, Odisha. Janaki Nath Bose. Who is elected president of the Independence of India League 1928? Srinivas Iyengar. The league was formed by Nehru and Bose, and Srinivas Iyengar was chosen as its president. Who was the British Prime Minister that sent the Cripps mission to India in 1942? Winston Churchill. In March 1942, Churchill sent the Cripps mission led by Stafford Cripps to seek India's support during the World War II. Under the direction of which British Prime Minister did the Cripps mission came to India in 1942? Winston Churchill. To ensure the India's cooperation during the World War II, Churchill dis- dispatched the Cripps mission. Where was the Quit India resolution passed by the Congress Working Committee in July 1942? Wardha. On 14 July 1942, the Congress Working Committee passed the Quit India resolution at Wardha. When was the Quit India resolution passed by All India Congress Committee? 8 October 1942. On 8 October 1942, the AICC passed the Quit India resolution at the Gwalior Tank Maidan in Bombay. Who drafted Quit India resolution in 1942? Mahatma Gandhi. The Quit India resolution was drafted by Mahatma Gandhi on behalf of the Congress. In which year the Quit India movement launched? In 1942. The movement was launched on 9 August 1942 after the failure of the Cripps mission. In which city did the Quit India movement begin? Bombay. The movement started on 9 August 1942 from Bombay, now Mumbai, after the resolution was passed on 8 August. During the Quit India movement, where did Aruna Asaf Ali hosted the Congress flag? Bombay. She hosted the national flag at Gwalior Tank Maidan in Bombay during the Quit India movement. Which movement is known as the August Resolution? Quit India movement. The Quit India movement of 1942 is popularly known as the August Resolution. When was the 78th anniversary of Quit India movement observed? On 8 August 2020. The 78th anniversary of Quit India movement was celebrated on 8 August 2020. When did Mahatma Gandhi started the Quit India movement? On 8 August 1942. The movement was launched on 8 August 1942 and spread across the country from 9 August. In which year Mahatma Gandhi launched Quit India Movement 1942? In 1942, under the leadership of Gandhi, the Quit India Movement was initiated against the British rule. Which party which party was in power in England where the cabinet mission came to India? Labour Party. In 1946, during the arrival of the cabinet mission in India, the Labour Party government was in power in England under the Prime Minister Clement Attlee. Who among the following not a member of the cabinet mission? Sir John Simon. The member of cabinet mission were Lord Patrick Lawrence, Stafford Cripps, A.V. Alexander, John Simon, not a member. What was the major event after the Quit India movement? The British Labour government sent the cabinet mission to India. After the Quit India movement 1942, the British government sent the cabinet mission to India in 1946. How many members there were in cabinet mission that came to India in 1946? 3. The cabinet mission consists of 3 members: Patrick Lawrence, Stafford Cripps, A.V. Alexander. Which province had highest representation in the Constituent Assembly on 31st December 1947? United Province. At that time, Constituent Assembly had the highest number of members, 55, from the United Province. In which year did the cabinet mission came to India? 1946. The cabinet mission arrived in India on 24 March 1946 to decide the process of framing the constitution. In which year were the provisional election held in British India? In 1936 to 37, under the Government of India Act 1935, the provisional election held in 1937. Which party formed the government in Punjab in 1937 provisional election? Unionist Party. In Punjab, the Unionist Party and the Muslim League formed a coalition government. Who announced 20 February 1947 that power would be transferred to India by June 1948? Clement Attlee. British Prime Minister Clement Attlee announced 20 February 1947 that power would be transferred to India by June 1948. According to Indian Independence Act 1947, what happened in India? What happened to India? Divide into two parts. According to this act, India and Pakistan were established as two independent dominions. Where was Mahatma Gandhi on Indian Independence Day, 15 August 1947? Calcutta. Gandhi was in Calcutta, now Kolkata, on that day, fasting to prevent communal violence. On which day was the announcement of partition of India made? On 3 June 1947. The announcement of partition of India was made on 3 June 1947 under the Mountbatten Plan. At what time did India gain independence on 15 August 1947? Midnight. India gained independence at midnight on 15 August 1947. In which year did the British government agree to grant independence to India? In 1946. In 1946, Attlee government agreed to grant independence to India. On which day India became the sovereign republic? On 26 January 1950. India became a sovereign republic on 26 January 1950 with the enforcement of its constitution. In which year Bengal State Prison Regulation Bengal Regulation 3 passed? 1818. This law allowed arrest without judicial procedure. This law allowed arrest without judicial procedure. Who was the first Indian to be included in the Executive Council of Viceroy? Satyendra Satyendra Prasna Sinha. Under the 1909 Act, he became the first Indian member of Viceroy Executive Council. In which year was the separate electorate granted for Muslim? 1909. Muslims were given the facility of separate electorate through parliamentary reform. Which reform was introduced in 1909 related to formation of Government of India? Parliamentary reform. This act recognized the electoral system and granted separate electorate to Muslims. Which bill was introduced to widen the Hindu-Muslim divide? Parliamentary reform. Passed in 1909, this act recognized the electoral system based on the communal representation. The Government of India Act 1935 was based on which principle? Federal and parliamentary system. This act laid the foundation of federal governance and parliamentary system in India. When was the Inland Immigration Act implemented? In 1859. Under this act, tea plantation workers were not allowed to leave the plantation without permission. Which plan of cabinet mission proposed the formation of Constituent Assembly? 1946. The 1946 cabinet mission proposed the formation of Constituent Assembly. Under which plan was the Constituent Assembly formed? Cabinet Mission Plan 1946. Under this plan, the Constituent Assembly was formed to draft the Constitution of Independent India. Under which act was the provision of responsible government in the province introduced? Government of India Act 1935. This act provided for provisional autonomy and responsible government in the province. Which act abolished the trade monopoly of the East India Company? Charter Act 1813. This act ended the company trade monopoly in India except trade in tea. Which act restricted plantation workers from leaving tea garden without permission? Inland Immigration Act 1859. This act prohibited workers from leaving the plantation without permission. Under which act was provisional autonomy granted? Government of India Act 1935. This act abolished diarchy in province and granted full autonomy to them. Which was the first act to regulate the affairs of the East India Company? Regulating Act 1773. This act laid the foundation of central governance over the company administration in India. Which statement is incorrect regarding the Government of India Act 1919? This act covered a period of 20 years from 1919 to 1939. This statement is incorrect. This statement is incorrect because the act was to review within 10 days and the Simon Commission was formed in 1927 itself, who granted the provisional autonomy in India. Government of India Act 1935. This act ended the diarchy province and introduced full autonomy, which Governor General implemented the doctrine of lapse. Lord Dalhousie. Dalhousie implemented this policy to annex a state of rulers without natural hire into British India, who is appointed as the first Surveyor General of India in 1815. Colin Mackenzie. Colin Mackenzie served as the first Surveyor General of India from 1815 to 1821. On whose recommendation was the Government of India Act 1919 passed? Edwin Montagu. The act was based on the recommendation of Edwin Montagu and Lord Chelmsford, who said about Awadh, "It is a cherry that will one day fall into the mouth." Lord Dalhousie. It was a cherry that will one day fall into our mouth for Awadh. Lord Dalhousie. In 1851, Lord Dalhousie referred to Awadh in this way under his plan of annexation, during which period Lord Dalhousie served as the Governor General of India, 1848 to 1856. During this period, he introduced railway, postal reforms, and doctrine of lapse. Who is considered the father of communal electorate in India? Lord Minto. Under the Morley Minto Reform 1909, separate electorate were provided to Muslims. Who was the first Governor General of independent India? Lord Mountbatten. After the India gained independence, Lord Mountbatten became the first Governor General of independent India. Which viceroy initiated the introduction of elected local bodies in India? Lord Ripon. In 1882, Lord Ripon passed a law to promote local self-government. Who is known as the father of local self-government in India? Lord Lippon. He, he took the initiative for the development of local self-government in 1882. Who formulated the doctrine of lapse? Lord Dalhousie. Under this policy, a state without natural hire were annexed by the British. Which policy was the doctrine of lapse? Whose policy was the doctrine of lapse? Lord Dalhousie. Under this policy, a state without legal hire were merged into British India. Which policy did Lord Dalhousie adopt for the annexation of Indian state? Doctrine of lapse. Under this policy, the state of rulers without natural hires were annexed into British India.